Oh no, I got way too many Z's or U. That's not a Z, that's a U. Way too many U's in my name. What's going on, everybody? Uh, Figured I'd hop on here and talk some of the NFL slate really fast, just because I've been, sick and everything over the past couple weeks. Uh, Between moving into the houses with NASCAR and stuff, obviously I had a tremendous um, August and September and October and stuff. Even before NASCAR, like between that Martinsville weekend, and now I really kind of just took a bit of a break from playing. With all the success and everything, I really, I just kind of wanted a break and just wanted to um, focus on other things. And I was sick for violently ill for like 2 weeks and stuff. So that's why you haven't really seen me on a lot of things. You haven't seen any packages of mine on Stake Kings just because I just haven't been playing. Even today, I'm actually playing way more on FanDuel than I am on DraftKings. Yet again, between everything going on and me taking a break, I mainly just threw a lot of my free money just in the stocks and just letting that do its own thing, and taking a bit of a step back on DFS till at least Thanksgiving and stuff, and we'll wrap it back up in December because I got nothing going on there. Um, Move update really fast. Obviously, we'll talk about the slate in a second, but move update. Got my entire closet moved into the house. Got other things moved into the house. I'm not in my room right now, but the move's going great. You should see the end of the apartment. Whenever I'm over there in my chair and everything in the background, probably by mid-December and everything. We just got done starting our first wedding planning, stuff like that. So I've been busy. So I apologize. I haven't been playing or I haven't been on as many streams as I had been before. But I've just I've been doing some other stuff. I know Sheets is out right now for a while. I think about a week and a half or so. I'm going to go visit Bobby up in Dallas next week for a bit, and I'm not on nap duty this today. As you can see, I mean, I hit Diamond as well. I got a VIP rep at DK. I got free sports tickets. Like, like I'm only doing $65 a night on DK. The big one here is I had like $700 on FanDuel that I'm just throwing the 15. It probably would be better to do 78 and the 9, but with how wild the slate is, we're just gonna actually I don't know. That's not on my account page. Hold on, give me a moment because I forgot what is shown on the account page of my TrueDFS thing. I don't want to be giving anything away there. So I'm just gonna go work from scratch. Obviously, we're like 50. How many minutes away? We're 45 minutes away from lock. I'm gonna specifically when we talk DraftKings, I'll talk single entry because I'm just doing my one line and these. As you can see, I mean, through the past, I mean, I had like nearly like $1,200 worth of crowns. I played through those to just get that. The wrong thing. So let's go ahead and look at let's go ahead and just look at the slate here. Now, yet again, I mean, I've kept up with news and stuff, but I've just first time I've been free here. I know Bobby was live about hour and 20 minutes ago or something, maybe an hour ago, talking about this. This was kind of last minute, but yeah. So let's go ahead and get this downloaded and stuff. Now, we do have, let me just make sure Goldie has his projections up, which they've been updated. I'm going to be using his tonight. Obviously, on FanDuel, you don't need to change anything because they don't have the same TOS as DraftKings. But I'm not exactly. I'm going to do two things here. So I haven't built stuff today. Obviously, we're 45 minutes away. Let me bring up the chat on my phone here so I can see anything if you guys are asking stuff or whatever. And make sure I accidentally don't move that to the living room. Let's see here. How has everybody been? Let's see. Let's see. 60 guys here. What's going on, Scott? What's going on, Eagles? Yeah, best of luck, everybody. Let's go in and look at this. So obviously, New England's a gigantic favorite. Now, normally, everybody knows me. I really, really hate playing quarterbacks and running backs as captains. Okay, typically stay with wide receivers. However, I think there is a huge difference in the performance that Stephon Diggs can do versus Henderson and Drake May. Okay. I'm also really concerned about Justin Fields. Now, for whatever reason, I've watched a lot of Justin Fields this year. Jets have just been on games that I've caught, and this has been some of the most frustrating. Him, JJ, Russell Wilson. I mean, this is like some moronic quarterback play. So I'm actually really concerned about Justin Fields getting pulled in this game, because if he goes through the first half and he doesn't do anything, I would just not be surprised if he gets pulled. I don't even know who the other quarterback is, but I do want to talk about this because part of me's tempted to. And yet again, I'm just here kind of talking through my stuff. I want to see who the other quarterback is. It'd be Tyrod. I'm not going to build with field sitting, but this seems like a game, or game. If you were going to go that direction, this is probably your best chance this year of having somebody get benched by really, really bad play and stuff. I'm going to do two things here. One, I'm going to build stuff first. I'm going to look at what kind of builds they're using, and then I'm going to run everything here. Yet again, I'm playing heavily on FanDuel today. I'm going to put a timer on really fast. I've been playing a lot of NBA DFS as well. Just haven't been doing stuff. So we're 42 minutes away. I'm going to put a timer on for 12 minutes here, just to catch myself that I'm not taking too long, to make sure I need to get lineups in by or start, getting lineups ready to be put in about 12 minutes or so. Sorry, I still got a cough, but it's still at least not as bad as it was. I'm going to run everything raw just to see what's being used here. I think I'm going to use Drake May and Henderson as the MVPs on FanDuel, and I would probably do the same thing on DK. We'll talk about that separately because I'm going to talk about it much more from a single entry, single lineup perspective and stuff. But like, with how bad the Jets have been, I mean, it's Breece Hall and Nick Folk, really. Like, I don't know who you even look at for the Jets to actually do anything. The New England should slaughter these guys. And I really, like the game on Monday, holy Christ, that was a horrific game. Games that score like that, I just get obliterated because holy Toledo. So what I want to look at here is who else is being used outside of May and Henderson. Now, yet again, probably the smarter thing would have been to do 78 lines or so with 700 in the 9. But I'm kind of concerned about duplications to a slight extent. I felt like giving up or playing that many lineups in that contest, despite the fact it was 5,000. I don't know if I feel like a lot of those lines would have been dead on arrival here. So looking at this really fast, just see what the Sims are saying between all the people here. Obviously, May and Henderson, are there. Then Breece Hall second at 8.5%, which is probably the distribution that you would expect, right? But I'm just kind of curious on who else they would be using here. Interesting. I'm not a big fan of the Patriots defense. That is, even if they slaughter. I mean, well, actually, I'm probably just going to play with whatever I get played with. But we're looking at a ton of. Now, this is not the set of lineups I'm going to use, so I'm going to look through and see kind of what these builds are at. We can even look at the stack exposure as well, but I want to actually visualize these really quick to see what they're being used. Obviously, we got half the lineups, 5-1 and 4-2, probably leaning much more towards New England, which obviously let's see here. Let's get past all these crap stuff. I want to see what is being used. So obviously, from an ROI perspective, it's wanting me to get off the Henderson and stuff. That's why our first one is at 11 or whatever. But it's like this one here, right? I would much rather have, and I'm just kind of looking through these lines to kind of see the builds here. I really like this one here. Don't know if, as stated, this isn't the group I'm playing, but this, this Henderson, especially in a lopsided affair. Now, I frankly, if you want to get different, you're stacking the Jets today, right? I've done I think it was last Monday night or something. It was the Dolphins or stuff. I played a ton of Dolphins and just got slaughtered, right? I'm usually up for that if the spreads are closer and I think the underdog can at least possibly do something. I just have no faith in the Jets tonight. This should be a Thursday night football game through and through. I really, really like this one yet again. I'm going to play whatever Patriots end up getting here. I'm not really concerned about that. And I actually really like the fact that I have Nick Folk as the one jet here. Same thing with Nick. With their price. Now, yet again, I don't play primarily on FanDuel. Obviously I do, but I don't really play it as much as normal. But I'm really liking these 5-1s with Nick Folk. Like this one, like this Jets one, disgusting. I don't want the Jets defense there. Secondary running back Isaiah Davis to Breece Hall, which is probably actually, in terms of Fields, Hall, Isaiah, Nick Folk. Actually, Nick would probably be third, but I think those are probably the 4 guys you actually want to target with, especially with all the injuries that the Jets have and stuff. I just don't think there's going to be a wide receiver that can really do much of anything. But I'm just kind of looking through these lineups really fast just because I haven't. Like I said, I haven't gone through. I like this one too. If yet again, the big difference is what is Henderson going to do versus Drake May? Like who scores better between these guys? Those are the 2 captains that I'm going to be using. I think it's pretty 50-50 today with the spreads and everything we got going on. Let's close this up and look at. Let's look at rerunning this stuff here and looking at it for real. So yet again, why do I typically build, one build, just see what's being given to me with everybody in play, just to kind of see, I keep sliding back. This stupid chair has wheels in it. I want to see where the field is potentially going. I want to see what kind of lineups are being shown because yet again, I like the Sims. Now, obviously, the Sims have worked out well for me. We're not having the debate on shortcomings of Sims or whatever, right? But in terms of chasing upside, there's going to be some lineups that are going to finish first or finish last, which is fine. But I don't want bad lineups. I really, entering 150, for 40 days straight or some shit. My focus really changed from approach of the slate to how do I minimize the bad lineups that I'm playing. Okay, and so if I'm paying attention to who's being used either as MVPs, if I'm not, I use short MVPs, but if I'm trying to figure out how to remove negative EV lineups, I do that by obviously going through and looking at the lineups that I'm being given, but I do it by looking at what is being given to me if I have no restraints on stuff and how ugly I think those lines are. So obviously we went through it. We saw Drake May, Henderson, Breece Hall, and then we had some really bad one-offs, captains and stuff. So I keep that in mind of hey, the Sims when I had everything open, these guys as potential captains for lineups. I'm guessing that it's probably going to push them when I then run my stuff with the MVPs that I want. It might heavily favor those guys as flexes or the flex plays to get different and stuff. And so I want to be aware of that and potentially limit those plays, okay? Because I'm using Goldie stuff, so you're kind of just our inputs are different than the basic saver sim stuff, but still being aware of potential pivots that the Sims are showing to people that, hey, you might want to go to player C as a high upside play. Sure, we're covering the field, but what about the user base using these Sims? Are the Sims all showing, player C that nobody's really looking at? Is everybody who's using this product potentially being thrown to that guy and stuff? So I just kind of pay attention to that. Let me see what Scotty's saying here. Best of luck. I'm glad the NHL is going well for you, Scotty. Are you going to remain in AAF for real? Mason Taylor is my guy. Yeah. I think I'm probably gonna let me move this here. I'm gonna run Drake and Trayvon as the two here by themselves. I want to see what it gives me. I also let me look at his salary really fast here. So we're missing Wilson, missing Stevenson, Kendrick Bourne. I don't. See, this is where my ignorance to FanDuel hits a bit of a roadblock. Because like DraftKings, I know, if I'm building, salary cap's 5,000, I typically want to use 49.8, 49.9, 49.7 or whatever. I don't play FanDuel enough to really say what salary I feel like I could cap my stuff at and not be eliminating potential lineups with how the points are spread out on FanDuel. I always never want to use max salary in any sport I play at this point. Basketball, I'll start with the salary cap or salary lowered, and then late swap. If it goes up, whatever, because you typically spend a lot of your salary on basketball. But college football, NHL, football, NASCAR, whatever, I've never wanted to spend all the salary. So my first step to potentially get somewhat different, yet again, I just don't have a feel for how tight salary is. I feel like 57 or 59.7 is fine. I don't feel like that 300 is pretty huge. Now I am using, a good portion of these expensive guys here, right? So usually when I'm focusing on this number more, the max salary, it's not about the expensive guys that I'm using. Everybody's using those guys. It's how different the rest, and especially the cheaper and lower part of the salary cap is. So how different is 300 getting you down here? Because typically when you build a lineup, you're spade up or whatever for your guys, then the values that you use is what is really differentiating the lineup, unless you're just doing a full fade or something to get different on the in this range. But sorry. If I still talk a lot, I end up coughing. I had like COVID for like the first time in forever. After or before, I then got sick. Like, yeah, I don't know, it's bullshit, bro. I'm still coughing, and I'm still congested. So I apologize for that. But we have a $1,400 difference here. We have a whatever the hell this is. I can't do math on my head. $600. We have $400 here. Oh, it's because they would insert my salary. Okay. So that 300 is not going to be pretty significant here because the gaps here are bigger. Obviously, like math. Obviously, 1,400 is bigger than 300 or whatever. But what I'm wanting to look at is where potentially is it going to be getting different here. Obviously, our stuff was liking the Patriots defense a lot, so there's probably going to be a lot of plays going there. Obviously, we saw Nick Folk was being used quite a lot here, but I'm hoping that this 300 will give us enough differences in this low value range, especially, when we look at where and I apologize, I keep clicking that with my thumb. We look at where, I did again, I'm going to go on the other side. We look at where, the Jets players are, and they're nearly all in this value range. And it seems like, this 59.7 can do a pretty decent job of getting me different enough in the value range to potentially help me lower my duplications. Okay. At least that's why I was looking at max salary. I'm never really concerned about what it's doing up top. Sims and stuff are going to do its own thing. I'm more concerned of where the potential differences might be when we're looking at the value plays, because that's typically where those changes are being made. It's 645 right now. So let's go ahead and go in here and see how much Henderson and May we end up getting here. What's going on, Rody? Happy to see you here as well. Let me see how much time we got left here. We got 29 minutes. Perfect. We got 2 seconds left on my timer. Let me shut that off. And I'm going to start another 13-minute timer here. that'll hopefully catch me by the time I want to start working on my single entry for DraftKings here. Also, Merry Christmas, everybody. If you know me in real life, I typically start wishing people a Merry Christmas on November 1st. And so I haven't been out here much, so Merry Christmas, everybody. Happy holidays, Happy New Year. All right, so let's run these. Let's see what it's going to give me in the MVP and in the flex. Now, yet again, I don't play as much on FanDuel. I'm just playing there because I got 700. I kind of want to get out because I need to play that because it's all site credits and stuff, and deposit bonuses and stuff. So I kind of just want to do whatever I can to just get that out. All right, so let's see the difference here between these guys. I want to see if it's pretty significant. 55-47, not bad at all. In my head, if it was pretty even, I was okay with that. I think I want slightly more Henderson. Well, do I? Do I want to mess with what is being given to me by the tool that I trust, or am I gonna tinker and toy with stuff too much? So let's before I make any changes there, let's see what's going on here. Can I potentially also? I'll show this later. Let's see. Huge amount of Patriots defense. Huge. 57% Justin Fields. I'm actually pretty comfortable with. So what is that? Actually, it just says right there, 27 lineups with Justin Fields. What about Breece Hall? I'd much rather. I actually like. I just don't feel it for Justin Fields today, man. I would much rather take Breece Hall, man. I would just rather have Breece Hall. So we're gonna edit that too. I also want to remove Jets defense here, just because I don't want that in play. I'm actually gonna just rebuild completely because that's a pretty significant change. Taking out Justin Fields. Yeah, again, that's just am I right? Am I wrong? I don't really. I mean, obviously, I want to be right, but I mean, that's just how I feel. I'm really, really worried about Fields. I think I just think Breece Hall is probably going to be much more important than Justin Fields by the end of this. While this loads, let me show you something that I found. Dude, I gotta kill time, right? Dude, I found these American Psycho pins. I know you can't see it because the lighting is just ass here, but they got Feed Me a Cat, Dorcia, Patrick Bateman, Paul Allen stuff. I don't know, pretty. Actually, you can't even see that. It's loading, so we'll come back here in a minute. But yeah, dude, like that's I don't know. That's pretty cool. Sorry if it's pretty low quality. Dude, I found these at Walmart for like $9. Like I have no clue why. How are these not selling out? You're telling me that people aren't buying that stuff for full price of $22? All right, so let's go ahead and relook here. How are we doing on my timer? I got 9 minutes. Okay, that's fine there. All right. Are you doing MMA this week? Yeah, I'll play UFC. I've still been playing UFC. Stuff to leave. No, oops. Let's see here. Did that check off the Jets team? What's going on here? It's because I had the Jets removed. I'm gonna rebuild this one more time. I feel like something funky happened. And as we get closer to lock here. We are 23 minutes away. I want to look at DraftKings as this kind of loads here. Yet again, I'm just playing the 33-20, nothing too major and stuff. But I think I'm gonna fade Justin Fields on that lineup. Well, I want to get this done here. And I go live just to kind of talk through what I do. Why is this? What is this? What are we doing, dog? What is going on here? Trying to think what else we're talking about here. I just have very, very little faith in the Jets today. Why is this not working here? What's going on, man? Okay. All right. Fuck, Jesus Christ. Why are we getting these idiots? Why me? All right, so let me see, dude. I try to do something fun. I try to show off my American Psycho pins to kill some time, and I just end up breaking literally everything. Come on, Trayvon, let's get on there. This is why I put the timer on to make sure so I wasn't fucking around and goofing around. Like if this was like 2 minutes before lock, I'd be pissed. I'd be pretty pissed off. All right, so like for the final freaking time, we're gonna say it louder. Okay, anyway, let's kind of deal with this here. So I think I'm gonna play Henderson here. I'm looking. I'll look through here really fast. So if you do, I'm gonna sneeze. It's gonna be really loud. Hold on. All right. Let's see. Let's run this thing for the 5th time. Obviously you used Henderson, Hall, Drake May. You got $3,900 remaining for your guys on DraftKings. Now, yet again, I said I like Folk and I like Isaiah from the Jets. And I'm going to run stuff in. That's still going to be tight, man. Use Folk and Isaiah. You're still down to 3,100 for your last guy. I'm not. Might have to be taking a 0 from a guy. I might be interested in taking a 0 from a guy. We'll have to look at that here in more detail here. Okay, so I lowered field, bro. Why did it do that? Why do I have 100 trillion over here with this? What in the hell? What in the goddamn is going on here? Why is everything great? Just let me make sure I know that Jeff's in here. No, I do. Why did it do that? Why did it do that? That's why I really advise to not use SaberSim on mobile. No, use it on low-end PCs. You just end up. I need to ask Bobby because I had him asking Andy from SaberSim I think a week ago regarding how intense SaberSim is on a browser and in the CPU for a computer here. I apologize. We're kind of why? I'm gonna have to restart the browser. What the hell is going on here, dude? This is in the Hindenburg. This is some unfortunate type of crap. What is going on here? All right, let's. Well, at least it's live. At least you know I'm not like bullshitting here or something. We're just breaking stuff in real time. All right, man. Gotta do it again. If you guys do have any questions or anything, I'll read in chat when I finish rerunning this stuff again. Okay, got Drake May, Got Henderson in there. I want 40% Justin Fields, por favor, and I want to remove the Jets from this. Okay, now we're good there. It's did they change it to where if you just remove players, it just does that automatically now? Because it did not used to be the case, or my browser might just be broken. But whatever, I don't care. And this could just be how FanDuel stuff builds. Yet again, I'm like a super virgin loser when it comes to FanDuel. So my grasp on FanDuel is not as good as my stuff on DraftKings. Let's see what you guys are saying. If there's anything being said, maybe there's not. Yeah, maybe this week, great card this week. Yeah, I have not looked at the card. I kind of just look at the UFC card Saturday morning, or I guess Friday, to make sure it's not, Saturday at like 3 a.m. or something. All right, now we're getting into territory, especially for NFL, that I really don't like to be in. Because we had 17 minutes to lock. I don't have these lineups in, and I still got to do my my single entry stuff here. So what I'm gonna do is very quickly throw in a dummy lineup, put this in all of my stuff, and then edit it from the from my phone when I start messing around on SaberSim. Unfortunate, but that's just how it is. And of course, my dummy lineup has 4 Jets in it. That's great. That's all right. Let's see if this is done with. Sorry for all the hiccups and everything. I plan on being done around this time, but this just decided to not work properly. All right, here we are. Should be the final roll call here. All right, last one. I want to see the final exposure rate between these guys. It's 57-42. Interesting. Okay, so removing Justin Fields and removing Jets defense lowered Trayvon Henderson slightly. Yet again, these are the tools I use. These are tools and sims made using their proprietary play-by-play simulations and stuff like that. At this point, do I want to mess with the output that it is giving me? I don't think I'm going to do that. So we're very split on flex. Interesting. We don't have a real stance on flex. There's my alarm. My timer, rather. I'm going to put another one on just so I'm not fucking around too much. We're going to put 5 minutes on. Dude, my house during NBA is crazy. Like, I have fucking alarms for like every 20 minutes. This kind of scares me a little bit. 40 on all these guys. If that's what it's showing, that's what it's showing, right? I guess. We're right at 40 on Breece Hall. I'd like to be. I just feel like if I'm overweight on Justin Fields, I feel like I just want a bit more Breece Hall. I'm going to make him 42. Now it's going to come pretty even with the other people I have here, but I just, if I'm lower on Justin Fields, I should probably just have a slight increase in Breece Hall here. So I get one more lineup with him. Okay, whatever. I think that's probably the best we're going to do. Not too worried about it. It feels a bit weird being so low on Henderson in both the MVP of the flex, but hey, dude, whatever. This is what the stuff says. Who am I to judge it? But you can at least see my exposures and stuff like that. Going forward, we did it, or I did it on and off a bit this year for NASCAR. I had shows by the paywall and stuff. I'm pretty sure we're moving entirely behind the paywall towards the end of this year and stuff, just because multiple Multiple users have requested that. Let me make sure. Okay, cool. We're live. I can accept that now. Okay, now let's tussle with DraftKings, right? So we're gonna be under the gun here, right? We got 13 minutes. I'm gonna go in a minute. I gotta blow my nose like a crazy person. I don't think I have a single tissue in here, so we might be running out of the room really fast to grab a tissue. Man, this is some tough stuff over here. So single entry. I'm gonna go get a tissue. I'm gonna let this stuff load, and then I'm gonna go get a tissue. I'll be right back. Pour un memento. I'm gonna close now yet again. You know, we for whatever reason we ran into issues using this second. I'm going to close out of my FanDuel build that I just had. I have no intention on ever looking at this game again from a FanDuel perspective. We're going to close that. Hopefully that frees up some processing power in the browser here. I'm going to open that. I'm going to now. We're going to notice I have different line or I have different contests here. Okay, we're gonna have to smoosh some stuff around really fast here to potentially get some stuff that we want, because I'm not going to be using what is being given to me here. I'm using Drake or Henderson. I know that for sure. I want to go ahead and I'm going to leave that salary open. We're gonna remove the Jets really fast. The Jets, good old JETS Jets. Let's remove that. Okay, and then let's build. I'm gonna go blow my nose. I'll be right back, and we'll talk about whatever pops up in a minute. So I'll be right back. All right, we survived. Boogers are no longer pouring out of my nose. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna run this, right? How much time we got here? We're kind of close here. Let's see. Let me check chat really fast. This might be the last time I check chat. Anything there? Nothing added there. 8 of you guys here. I do appreciate it. Thank you for watching. We are all right. Here we are. We're in crunch time. We are a solid 10 minutes and 40 seconds away. So, when I build one lineup, single entry, if I'm chasing stuff, I'm wanting to do my best to get. With single entry is different, man. When you're entering more lines, you're focused on trying to win, which obviously we're trying to do here. But how do I get into the cash line and as far up the leaderboard as possible? That is usually by getting as many lineups or as many players in my lineup that can score well here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the contest that I'm focusing on the most tonight, which is at 33. I'm going to have this look at 300 lineups here, and I'm going to specifically look at this contest. Actually, we're going to remove these. Yeah, let's get rid of all these. I mentioned this before. I'm going to specifically just look at this bootleg because from everything I did this last like 2 months or whatever, this was the toughest contest week in and week out, or 9 in, 9 out. 9 minutes here. All right, so let's go in and see what is being. Well, I'll let this actually finish running stuff. What is being pushed here? So, who's being favorited more here? Please don't be ahead. It's a split again. Damn it. I like the salary savings that you would get from using Henderson in here. So I would specifically look at the lineups that are using Henderson. This is this is how I build for single entry. And then I want to look at the flex exposure of these top 300 lineups, both and the Sims and stuff. I'm gonna hand build my lineup that I want to use, and we don't have a damn timer on this fucking screen, so we have 8 minutes left. Gonna set. All I do is just set alarms. Gonna set another 5-minute alarm, so I'm not caught with my pants down here. And I want to hand build here. So let's go ahead and rock and roll. So we got Henderson there. Okay, top 300 lineups in the Sims for this specific contest, which is the one I'm using to base all my stuff off of. I want to see where people are being used. And now sometimes I use it by the exposure rates for these. Typically, if you've got a high exposure rate, it probably means you're a good play. Okay, this likes Justin Fields. Okay, this would say, hey, you might want to be over the field on Justin Fields. I know I want Drake May. And I know I want Breece Hall. Yet again, we're back to the same predicament. We're at 3,300 for these other guys. So what values are being used here? Now, I don't know any of these people. I'm just simply looking at what our stuff is showing here. First cheap guy we see is Terrell Jennings. We see Smith at 1,600. We see Kyle Williams at 2. Mitchie at 3. All these guys are pretty. We see Jeremy Rudkin at 600. 4% expected ownership. We see Andrew Beck nearly free with nobody owning him or whatever. I want to see what happens if I put Jeremy in here. So I just want to see what happens and where is he on the depth chart? What is going on? Do we have guys injured? Do we not? Taylor Rutker. I mean, second tight end. Okay, so now why? And at this point, I'm not going to say who else I'm playing, but when I'm building lineups, Henderson, Hall, Drake May, favorite running back from the expected winning team. Drake May, the overall probably best play on the slate for safety net, for points and everything like that. Breece Hall, the guy who's probably going to be the made DFS score on the Jets. Now, that could be 9 points, that could be 12, whatever. I kind of just want to do the best I can to get those guys. Now, Rutger, when I do single entry lineups, just look at that now. Yet again, I don't like looking at game logs and stuff. We're just looking at what he's been scoring. 3.5, 7, 0, 3, 3, 6, 8, 0, 0, 3, 4, 1 point. When I'm playing single entry, I'm okay taking a 0. If somebody can score anything above that, above a free square, I typically like that. Now I have 55 or 5,600 remaining for my final 2 guys on my single entry. This is just how I built. Now, who is in this range that has a high exposure rate based on the Sims here? So that's anybody in the range, and I would argue I'm probably not going to make it to a 9K guy. There's no 6Ks or whatever. Obviously, we have Patriots defense or whatever. So we have Patriot defenses, both the kickers and stuff like that. Gonna go ahead and then try and figure out who the best guy can get here. I think I have a lineup that I want. That's how I build. And yet again, I can't show what I'm doing or playing, but I have Henderson, I have Breece Hall, I have May, I have Kit Kerr, whatever. It's $600. Okay, if he scores me 0, I think this line is still going to cash. If he does anything, I think that opens the door up for this to then potentially be finding to be optimal with the amount of people that I'm playing. I had $5,600 remaining. I then look at, what exposure rates are being used for certain guys. Do I want to pay up for people? Am I able to get people that look good or whatever the case may be? I stated who I liked from the Jets team. It seems like I was able to get 2 of those guys. So I'm fairly satisfied with my one lineup I throw in. Yet again, Is he going to win the 20? No, but I always play all my lineups that I play in the 20 in case I land on it. Do I think I can cash and the 33 with a slide? I think I can. That's how I build and stuff. Yeah, that's mainly it. Let me get all this stuff off. Let me see if there's any other comments or anything here. Anything new from chat? I don't see anything yet. Good luck, everybody. Scott, thanks for being here. The 10 of you guys here who spent 45 minutes with me, thanks for being here, and best of luck, guys. And I guess go Patriots, right? I guess that's it. Thank you for joining. I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.